Exercise 1321. We're going to be issuing some stock and then working on the stockholders' equity section of the balance sheet. So the charter for WCAP TV Incorporated authorizes the company to issue $100,000 shares of $2 no par preferred stock and 500,000 shares of common stock with $1 par value. During its startup phase, WCAP completed the following transactions. So here are our transactions. And we're going to record these transactions. First transaction, right now we don't need this box because it also repeats the information here. So on September 6th, we issued 275 shares of common stock to the promoters who organized the corporation, and we received cash of $82.50. So cash is going up, and we know we have issued some common stock. Now remember, common stock is a capital account, an equity account. So, and the equity is increasing, so we have to debit this account. And also remember that when we're recording the common stock, it has to be at the par value. So the par value is $1, and we're issuing 275 shares, so it's going to be $275 for this credit. Now, of course, this does not balance, so we need the paid-in capital in excess of par for the common stock, and that's going to be the balancing amount. $82.50 minus $275 gives us $79.75. And the comments in this problem say we also need to do an explanation on the last line of the journal entry. So we issued common stock for cash. Now, it's September 12th. We issued 300 shares of preferred stock for cash of $24,000. So we're getting cash, $24,000. And the preferred stock is no par. So we don't have any amount in excess of par. So we're just going to increase the preferred stock account by $24,000. We issued preferred stock for cash. On September 14th, we issued 1,400 shares of common stock in exchange for land. And the land has a market value of $19,000. So we increase the land account, and we have to increase our common stock account because we issued stock. And we always have to record it at $1, or we have to record it at the par, and the par value happens to be $1. So $1 times the 1,400 shares we issued gives us $1,400 for the common stock account. And the balancing amount is going to go in paid in capital in excess of par for the common. And that's going to be $17,600. And for the comment, we issued common stock for land. Okay, so we have our journal entries. Now we have to prepare the stockholders' equity section of WCAP TV for the balance sheet. And let's review the order, the proper order for the equity section of the balance sheet. So looking back at the slide we had previously, here's the proper order for the equity section of a balance sheet. We're going to have preferred stock, and if there is any paid-in capital in excess of par, that would go next for the preferred. Then we list the common stock, and then paid-in capital in excess of par for the common. And then we list our retained earnings. Remember, retained earnings is past profits not yet paid out in the form of dividends. So let's scroll back up here. So we have to look for our preferred stock. And here's our preferred stock. We had $24,000 worth of preferred stock. So we're going to list preferred stock, $2 no par, 100,000 shares authorized. And let's go back to see how many we issued. We issued 300 shares. 300 shares issued and outstanding, and the dollar amount is the $24,000 credit. Okay, and then next we would, just a reminder, next would be the paid-in capital in excess of par for the preferred. Go back up and notice we have no paid-in capital in excess of par for the preferred stock. So we're done with the preferred stock section. Next on our list is common stock and then paid-in capital in excess of par for the common. So let's scroll up here. We've got common stock, 275. And then, well, let's talk about the shares. We got 275 shares of common stock. And then later, we have 1,400 shares. So we have issued 1,675 shares. So we're going to list common stock, $1 par, 500,000 shares issued. That's from up here. And then we list 1,675 shares issued and outstanding. And then go back up, look at the numbers. We've got $1,400 for common stock here. And then we've got 275. So because it's a dollar par, it's going to be the same as the number of shares issued, 1,675. And then after that, we have our paid-in capital in excess of par common. And for those amounts, we've got paid-in capital in excess of par common here. We got $79.75 plus paid-in capital in excess of par common, $17,600. That gives us $25.75. So when we add 25, I'm missing a 5, $25,575. There we go. So when you add 24,000 plus 1675 plus 25,575, we get total paid-in capital of 51,250. And then going back to our slide, after total paid-in capital, we have retained earnings. So retained earnings would be the company's history of their net income that they've had that they've not yet paid out in the form of dividends in the history of the company. So up here, we notice it says this is the charter for the company. And it also says this is a company's startup phase. So what startup phase means is this is the company's first period of existence. So this is their first time period. In fact, this is for September 30th. And we notice we have net income of $37,000. So that is our retained earnings. Now, if the company existed before this, we would have to know what the balance of retained earnings was before. But since this company is new, this is our very first net income. So that's the amount that we put into retained earnings. So we now add total paid-in capital of $51,250 plus $37,000 gives us $88,250 of stockholders' equity.